The wrestling world came to a complete standstill when Jade Cargill experienced what many are calling one of the most shocking moments in recent WWE history during a live broadcast that left millions of viewers absolutely stunned and the internet exploding with reactions that spread across every social media platform within minutes. Before we dive into every single detail of what actually happened that night, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now because we're bringing you all the exclusive wrestling content you can't find anywhere else. What started as a routine match quickly transformed into a moment that nobody saw coming, and the aftermath has sparked conversations about everything from wardrobe safety protocols to how live television handles unexpected situations when things go terribly wrong in front of a global audience. Jade Cargill has been one of the most dominant forces in women's wrestling since making her professional debut, standing at an impressive height with a physique that has earned her countless comparisons to legendary athletes and making her presence felt in every single match she's been part of throughout her career. Her transition from AEW to WWE was considered one of the biggest signings in recent memory, with fans and critics alike anticipating what she would bring to the biggest stage in professional wrestling. The former AEW TBS champion had built a reputation for being practically unstoppable, racking up an undefeated streak that lasted well over a year and establishing herself as someone who could carry a division on her shoulders. Her athleticism combined with her natural charisma made her an instant standout, and WWE wasted no time in pushing her as a major player once she joined their roster. The incident occurred during what was supposed to be a standard match on live television, with Jade competing against another top-tier talent in a bout that had been promoted throughout the week as a must-see encounter between two of the strongest women on the roster. Everything seemed to be going according to plan as both competitors delivered hard-hitting action that had the crowd fully invested in what they were watching. The match featured several impressive power moves and athletic sequences that showcased exactly why Jade had become such a talked-about performer in the industry. Fans in attendance and those watching at home were treated to exactly the kind of physical storytelling that makes professional wrestling so compelling when done right. Then came the moment that changed everything and sent shockwaves throughout the arena and across the internet. During a particular sequence that involved Jade executing one of her signature power moves, her ring gear experienced a catastrophic failure that resulted in a wardrobe malfunction of the most serious nature imaginable. The incident happened so quickly that neither Jade nor the production crew had any time to prevent what was about to unfold in front of millions of viewers tuning in live. Camera operators scrambled to adjust their angles while the director in the production truck worked frantically to cut away from the situation, but the damage had already been done as the exposure occurred during those crucial seconds before anyone could react appropriately. What made the situation even more complicated was the fact that this was happening during a live broadcast with no delay system in place to catch such incidents before they reached viewers at home. Jade's professionalism in that moment was absolutely remarkable as she immediately recognized what had happened and worked to address the situation while still maintaining her composure in the middle of the ring. Her opponent also demonstrated incredible awareness and professionalism by immediately positioning herself to help shield Jade from the cameras while they figured out how to handle the situation without completely breaking the flow of the match or drawing even more attention to what had just occurred. The referee assigned to the match also deserves credit for his quick thinking as he positioned himself strategically to provide additional coverage while simultaneously communicating with production through his earpiece about what had just transpired. The entire sequence lasted only a matter of seconds, but for everyone involved it must have felt like an eternity as they worked together to navigate through an absolutely nightmare scenario that no performer ever wants to experience regardless of how many years they've been in the business. The match was quickly brought to a conclusion shortly after the incident, with the finish being called on the fly to get everyone backstage as quickly as possible. Backstage, the atmosphere was reportedly tense as officials immediately went into crisis management mode to assess the situation and determine what steps needed to be taken to address what had just happened on their live programming. Jade was immediately checked on by medical staff, fellow wrestlers, and company officials who wanted to make sure she was okay both physically and emotionally after experiencing such a traumatic moment in front of the world. According to multiple reports from people who were present backstage that night, Jade handled the entire situation with remarkable grace and maturity despite being understandably upset about what had occurred during what should have been just another match in her rising WWE career. The internet reaction was swift and unfortunately not everyone responded with the kind of empathy and respect that the situation demanded. Within minutes, clips and screenshots from the incident began circulating on social media platforms despite WWE's best efforts to issue takedown notices and remove the content as quickly as possible. Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, and various wrestling forums exploded with discussions about what had happened, with reactions ranging from genuine concern for Jade's well-being to completely inappropriate comments that demonstrated the worst aspects of online culture. Many fans and fellow wrestlers immediately came to Jade's defense, calling out those who were making light of the situation or sharing the images and videos without any consideration for her dignity or privacy. Several prominent voices in the wrestling industry spoke out about the incident, with both current and former wrestlers sharing their own experiences with wardrobe malfunctions and the intense scrutiny that female performers face regarding their ring attire. Multiple women who have competed at the highest levels of the sport revealed that wardrobe concerns are a constant source of anxiety because of how unforgiving the business can be when these accidents occur. The conversation expanded beyond just this one incident to address larger issues about double standards in wrestling, the unrealistic expectations placed on female performers regarding their appearance, and how the industry needs to do better in protecting its talent when these unfortunate situations arise. WWE released an official statement addressing the incident, though they kept the details relatively vague while expressing their support for Jade and acknowledging that they were reviewing their protocols to ensure that something like this would be prevented in future broadcasts. The company also reportedly reached out to social media platforms directly to request assistance in removing unauthorized clips and images from the incident, though the decentralized nature of the internet made it virtually impossible to completely scrub the content once it had started spreading. Legal teams were consulted about potential options for pursuing action against those who continue to share the content maliciously, but the practical challenges of enforcing such measures across international platforms proved to be significant. Jade herself remained silent on social media in the immediate aftermath of the incident, which was completely understandable given the circumstances and the fact that she needed time to process what had happened before making any public statements. Her fellow WWE superstars rallied around her both publicly and privately, with many sharing messages of support and encouragement while condemning those who were treating the situation as entertainment rather than recognizing it for the serious violation of privacy that it represented. The solidarity shown by the wrestling community during this time highlighted the bond that exists among performers who understand the unique challenges and vulnerabilities that come with performing in such a physically demanding and exposed environment. When Jade eventually did address the situation publicly, she did so with the same strength and dignity that had defined her response to the incident itself. She thanked everyone who had reached out with genuine support and concern while also making it clear that she would not be defined by this moment or allow it to derail her career or diminish her passion for professional wrestling. Her statement was powerful and direct, acknowledging the reality of what had happened without dwelling on it or giving energy to those who had responded inappropriately. The way she handled the aftermath earned her even more respect from fans and colleagues who recognized the courage it took to address such a personal and embarrassing situation head-on. The incident also sparked important conversations within WWE about equipment standards and quality control measures for ring gear, with the company reportedly implementing new inspection protocols to check attire before performers go out for their matches. Costume designers and seamstresses who work with the talent were brought into discussions about how to reinforce garments and build in additional safety measures to prevent similar malfunctions from occurring in the future. These changes were implemented across the board for all performers, not just the women's division, as the company recognized that wardrobe failures can happen to anyone and that protecting their talent should be a top priority regardless of gender. Other wrestling promotions and independent organizations also took note of what happened and began reviewing their own protocols and standards regarding ring gear, recognizing that this could happen anywhere at any time and that being proactive was better than waiting for another incident to occur before taking action. The conversation extended into discussions about whether live broadcasts should implement slight delays similar to what radio stations use to catch profanity or other issues before they reach audiences, though the logistical and financial implications of such systems made immediate implementation challenging for most promotions. Despite the traumatic nature of the incident, Jade demonstrated remarkable resilience by returning to television relatively quickly and continuing to perform at the highest level as if to prove that she would not be broken or intimidated by what had happened. Her first appearance back on WWE programming was met with an overwhelmingly positive response from the live crowd, who gave her a standing ovation and chanted her name in a show of support that clearly moved her as she stood in the ring taking in the moment. That reaction from the fans showed that while the internet can be cruel and unforgiving, there are still plenty of people who recognize that wrestlers are human beings who deserve compassion and respect, especially when they experience vulnerable moments. The long-term impact of the incident on Jade's career remains to be seen, but early indications suggest that she has only grown more popular and respected in the aftermath of how she handled such a difficult situation. Her bookings have remained strong, and WWE has continued to feature her prominently in their programming as a sign that they have full confidence in her abilities and her future with the company. Fellow performers have spoken about how the incident and her response to it have actually elevated her standing in the locker room, with many viewing her as an even stronger and more courageous person for how she dealt with circumstances that would have devastated others. The incident also served as a stark reminder of the unique challenges that come with performing live television in an era where everything is recorded and shared instantly across the globe. Unlike other forms of entertainment where mistakes can be edited out or multiple takes can be used, professional wrestling exists in the moment with no safety net and no opportunity for do-overs when things go wrong. That reality makes what wrestlers do even more impressive but also more dangerous from a personal and professional standpoint, as one unexpected moment can become permanent internet history regardless of how much someone might want to move past it. As time has passed since the incident, the wrestling community has largely moved on to other stories and developments, though Jade's wardrobe malfunction remains one of those moments that gets referenced whenever discussions arise about the most shocking or unexpected things to happen during live wrestling broadcasts. For Jade herself, the incident will likely always be part of her story, but it doesn't have to define her story as she continues building a legacy based on her incredible talent, physical prowess, and the character she displayed in handling one of the most difficult moments any performer could face. The way she responded to adversity and refused to let it defeat her serves as an inspiration not just to other wrestlers but to anyone who has experienced public embarrassment or had their privacy violated in ways that felt overwhelming and impossible to overcome. If you found this breakdown of what happened interesting and want to stay updated on all the latest wrestling news, stories, and analysis, make sure you're subscribed to our channel so you never miss any of the content we're bringing you every single day covering everything happening in the world of professional wrestling.